Alright, so should be good to go in a second. So you know a bit of the controls there, Jetto, you've done it before.
I'm all good, mate. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Alright, welcome to ANZCRL Combined Racing League's Session 3 of the Bathurst 1000. We have just ended the little warm-up session before the guys take to track to restart. They've completed 80 laps so far, and we've got another 40 to go for Session 3. In the commentary we have got Jetto joining me. Welcome, Jetto.
Thanks, Woody. Looking forward to another close battle session here at the mountain.
Yes, we've got 6 cars still on the lead lap, so yeah, it should be very interesting to see how that pans out. Most of the guys are now really feather themselves into the running, and now I can see some of the pace is probably going to start picking up for this session.
Yeah, that's it. Just first 2 sessions, just a matter of getting the car around the track and keeping it on that lead lap. Ready for these last 2 sessions to really make way.
Yeah, and I'll just ask you a quick one question. You've got your audio selected as well.
All good. Check that one on the stream and we're all good.
Okay. I might just it might go blank for a second. I just want to go and check to see if I can change your audio, because we've been problem with the audio, party chat audio, always at 100%. So I'll just
seemed okay. I had a bit of a listen then, but
yeah, okay.
I don't know. We found that was a problem with Darky. He had me really low once. Like, oh, that's why we could.
What's that in options or something? Is it?
I think it's in the actual Xbox party chat.
Yeah, no worries. Alright, just getting a few things sorted, guys. Ready for the start. This is just the end of practice if you're just joining us. It's just a little 10-minute warm-up we give the guys just to get their eyes back in after having a little bit of a break. We had to run our first 2 sessions yesterday. And the Team Mondelin car are definitely the car of the moment at the moment. Driven with Dread 01, or Dread 501 and Simo Racing 4. We're looking at the moment. Currently first, and then second we'll have Weary Knight, who had a fabulous drive in that second session, jumping from I think 7th all the way to 2nd in the L. Bregson Motorsports with Gear 3 Gaming. So there again another wildcard entry. And this man here in the second of the Team Mondelin cars, Dark Racing 40, is going to be third. And we will just let this hold up a little bit as we go through the order, just so the guys can just go through the last minute prep talk. And then Illogical Sports in the number 28 Extra Racing Inc. car in 4th. And then we'll have Maddie Seeking, I think, or
Cirrus is driving today.
Who's actually driving? Commander Cirrus actually driving again, doing a double stint in the number 15 Cash Cow, we're calling it, car in 5th. And then the last guy on the lead lap is Far Kennel taking over from Rightso in the 48 Spodreka exhaust systems. And a bit of a shock, the guys that just fell a lap down last night, Jetto, who's in the commentary at the moment, his teammate Knight Pegasus 120, there's been a no-show after hitting the town at Bathurst, and we cannot find him anywhere, so could be at the Ox or somewhere, who knows. So anyway, so he's not there, so the man that will only be 1 lap down will be Commander Jim in the number 52 Pace Motorsport car. And then Timmy 82 looks like I think he's doing a double stint tonight. This afternoon, doing the last 2 sessions. He's in, he'll be 8th now because they jump up because of Night Pegasus not being around. And he's going to be 2 laps down with also Lolux in the number 6 Besmont Automotive team. And then 10th will be Muppet Gonzo in the number 10. He's going to be 3 laps down. 4 laps down will be Dark Lord. And 6 laps will be Devil X in the number 43 Kevin's Racing. So we'll continue on. And the guys can now get themselves sorted. And what we do here on the restart, if you haven't seen the sessions here at ANZ Combined Racing League for our Bathurst 1000, this is our 4th run-in. It's actually a random grid at the moment because it was just a practice session. So we'll have the first 6 guys that are on the lead lap that we just went through then. We'll go off the grid for a formation lap, which will be a single file. We'll treat it as a safety car period, basically. And then the other cars that are lapped down, so we'll have Commander Jim in the 52 pace car, Timmy 82, Lolux, Muppet Gonzo, Dark Lord and Devil. They'll all go off the grid once the lead cars leave the grid, and they'll park it up on the grass on the left-hand side up Mountain Straight after pit exit in order. And basically as the cars come down, the chase, Dredd will actually have control of the race, like the safety car's gone into the pits, and he will be able to drag them all the way to the start line if he wants, or he can go anywhere from basically out of the chase of pit lane area down into the start line. There'll be no overtaking, they'll be overlapping, but they can't overtake till they cross the start line. Once they go up Mountain Straight, we'll see the first car leave out of that grid that are parked up, because he'll then be lapped down, will be Commander Jim in that 52 pace motorsport car. And then the next 2 guys will have to wait until the cars come around again. They just have to wait till the leader comes through. And that'll be Timmy and Lolux. And then they'll take off to start their race, which will put them 2 laps down. It looks like we're about to start, guys. Strap yourselves in, Jeddo, and hopefully we'll have a good call for all our members watching here today. You just see as they're coming through the grid now, we've got Weary Knight coming up through the middle. And now we'll have Commander Jim go off, and it looks like we just got to wait for... then it'll be Commander Jim. And you'll see that they'll just park up. I might just quickly have to join their party, because that's Lolux. I think Commander Jim's a bit confused where he's got to be because of not having... Night Pegasus in there. I just want to confirm that they've got that order right.
Yeah, Jim's at the front.
Oh no, that's right.
Right.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Commander
Done
Jim.
well.
Yeah, then we got Timmy. That's right. Yeah, so I'm looking at it the wrong way.
Jim, Timmy, Lolux.
Very good.
Up at Dark Lord and Devil. Have a look where the rest of the boys
Very
are at.
good. So it's a bit of a nervous time for these guys, just knowing that they've got another 40 laps, and obviously this is a teamed event, so they have got a teammate, and that's why we break them up into sessions, because we can't swap drivers during a live session here on Project Cars on the Xbox. So we'll have about a 30-minute break or so in between session 3 and 4, and that'll be the run to the flag. So as we said, we've already completed 80 laps. The total race time at the moment has only been 2 hours, 48 minutes and 45 seconds. So it's been a pretty hot pace, Jeddo, for the first 2 sessions.
Don't expect it to ease up at all, though. I can see Dredd putting in some serious lap times at the lap, I think. And it's going to be an interesting battle, I reckon, between Darky to hold on to Weary. He showed some big pace at the last end of that last session. Oh,
Weary, he was doing 203s on wet worn tyres, I think. So he still had plenty of pace in that number 8 Elbrigtson motorsport car.
It was like he held his pace for the first 20 minutes, then unleashed.
Yeah, definitely. And that's exactly what he did. The car probably felt better in the hotter conditions. It was a bit of overcast clouds to start off session 2. Went to medium cloud, which we're actually in at the moment.
Car definitely did. It definitely, like, obviously I drove the last session. It was the first 10, 15 laps in that colder weather. The tyres weren't quite as well intended to wear, but the second set of tyres, they just tended to last, and you had a lot more grip coming into those last 5 to 10 laps than what you did previously.
Yeah, even though the track got up to about 47 degrees, I think most guys are running the soft tyres. They sort of did hold in. They didn't overheat. Well, I know my tyres didn't overheat. They really gripped up. They was really good. So anyway, Weary Knight's really wanting to get this show on the road. He's showing some signs there to Dredd. Let's not hold it up. Let's get going. And Dredd at the moment has got the fastest lap of the race of over 2:01.174. So the pace is fairly fast, with most of these guys averaging around the 2:02s, 2:03s. So
We know what the
guys.
race lap record is, Woody.
I'll chase that up during, but at the moment we'll just get this start and see how they go. Looks like he's run. He's taking the time to go. He's not going to hold him up.
Look at Weary.
And
diving and weaving all over the back of him.
Yeah, he's looking around the outside, and he's made that stick, and now Darky's coming around. So Dredd's just treading very carefully here, and as we can see just in the background, that number 52 will be leaving. And the battle here between the two teammates, with Dark Racing down on the inside. Can he make it stick? Looks like he has.
Dredd gone from pole down the third after 2 corners.
Yeah, he's hopefully his wheel is not too bad. Remember in the first session, I did notice he went speed off the first corner, and here we go, the two the cash cow battling out with the Logical, and it looks like the Logical has tapped out of that battle nice and early.
It's a long race, another 81 laps to go, so damage in the first lap's not ideal.
No, and these three here are something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. They're basically very evenly paced, these 3 cars. That's going to be a big battle for 4th spot, I think. And hopefully they can pick up, as Illogical just tags the tyre barrier coming into the dipper. Side glances of these cars, they can handle a little bit of that damage without getting anything registered in the suspension, so he should be okay. He'll be rattled though. Just got to compose himself again. And here we go for the battle where they've got Weary Knight trying to break that slipstream from Darky.
What a great start by Weary Knight though. That first pass on turn 1 pulled out the lead and overtook Dredd.
Oh, yeah, he's had to check out there because he was just up on that curb, and as we know, that can really throw you out back onto the concrete barrier on the outside. And here's Darky having a look down the inside, but decides better of it. Level heads at this stage, Jeddo.
Oh, that's it. Especially Darky's a fair bit on the line for old Darky at the moment. He's running for the Triple Crown. So any accident here early on is definitely going to affect him. So I think a bit of a level head is definitely needed.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. You know, we here at ANZCRL Combined Racing League, we do run a Triple Crown, and the guys that get awarded the Triple Crown, which we've only had one. The inaugural winner was Shads last year. They get actually a trophy sent their way, and that's by winning the the Indy 500, I should say, and the Le Mans 24 hours that we do, and then this Bathurst 1000. So they're the 3 races that you've got to win in the Le Mans 24 hours. Obviously, that'll be in the LMP1 class. So Darky's done that. He's done the 2. He's got the Indy 500 and the Le Mans 24 hours. And this one's eluded him so far. They've
one to go.
A pretty good gap there. Nice healthy over 2 second lap over Dredd. But getting back to Dredd here, that trouble with his wheels, and he speared off in the first corner after having pole, and had to reset his wheels. So
hasn't been pleasant bit of Bathurst for him so far.
Ooh. A good look down the inside. Oh, the club of the wall coming out there.
A light touch
by Darky. Yeah, throwing up a bit of concrete dust.
Cirrus is on the back end of Dredd.
Yeah.
He's had a good start. He's jumped up a couple of positions.
Yeah, Commander Serious, I think that's what all he needs to do is try and keep him on that black stuff. He did show some pace at different times between last session. Actually, the first session, sorry, I should say. Was it that he was in, or the second session he was in? He's doing a double stint.
With the double stint. Yeah, Matty had the first session. No, he has been quick, and he showed a lot of pace in previous series. Sometimes it just goes a little bit too hard at times and forces mistakes. So hopefully he can keep it clean on the track and have a good start.
And as we just see there in the background, that number 10 Lumensi Racing of Muppet Gonzo is rejoining into the race. And there's a little bit of an art for this, because as the guys can try, and if they can hold a nice solid pace, and Lolux is in the pits early on, so something's happened to Lolux on that first lap, and as we can see, it may be what we just saw happening with Muppet. They come out with their tyres after sitting on the grass for so long, not into their operating window. That first lap has to be very careful. But getting back to those guys that are lapped down, why this battle just keeps going on for the lead. If they can get going just as the leader passes them and then hold on in front of the car that's obviously trying to put them another lap down, they can, over this session, if they can stay in front of them, obviously they can then be on the same lap as those guys. So it's one of the ways that they can try and get their lap back and have a good battle.
One of our fellow racers has just commented in Twitch that he reckons Dread's letting the front two chew their tyres up, maybe, and hope for a little bit later on. This session being a little bit warmer, it'll be interesting to see how the old tyre wear does affect. It could come into...
Darky's is being forced out on the grass to try and make this move. Darky does have some fast pace early on, but then I found that he did drop a little bit with his tyres just wearing a little bit in the session that he ran earlier in the second session.
The last 5 laps I was sort of following him. I was sitting sort of behind him. He had a couple of little mishaps into the wall and the spin coming into the last 5 laps, so hopefully he doesn't have the same... I don't know if you saw...
Yeah, here he goes, having a look inside. He's roughing up where we're not. I don't know if you noticed that coming out of Murray's corner, or coming into Murray's corner, he gave him a good little hello love tap up the rear end of the back of that number 8 Edge Elbregson motorsport car.
Look at the lap times. Dredd and Sirius are in the 2:03, so they're almost a second quicker than Weary and Darky at the moment. So a couple more laps and they could be in this battle pack as well.
Yeah, well, here we go, looking around the outside, not a place you want to be. You went up on that wall, that yellow wall there. So hard to get the power down coming out of the cutting sometimes, isn't it? It's you've got to really feather that throttle on.
Early on the tyres tend to grip, but give it another 10 laps and you've got to be real careful on that throttle.
That's it. Yeah, it can lift you around.
There's some good racing by Darky, sitting hard on the end of Weary Night. Just putting the pressure on. Trying for him to make a mistake, but Weary's definitely holding on and continuing through.
Yeah, taking nothing away from Weary. It's leading a very fierce battle here in Australia's greatest race, the Bathurst 1000, here on ANZCRL Combined Racing League. Brought to you by Project Cars 2 on the Xbox. And this is session 3 of 4 sessions after we'll be doing 161 laps in total. So as we said, now they're on their 85th lap, about to start their 86th lap. Only 6 laps into this session. Each session's 40 laps, except for the final one, which is 41.
Look at him out. Dredd is definitely catching this lap. It'll be interesting to see what his lap time comes down to at the end of this. He's definitely closed that gap this lap. So.
Yeah, he's unleashed the beast.
Yeah, might have just been seeing his eye in for the first couple of laps.
Well, the figures don't lie there, Jetto. It's just popped up on my screen. He's done the fastest of the lap of the race so far, of this session, at 2:02.9, which was his last lap then. Looks like Weary's weaving around. I don't know if he's obviously trying to... Maybe he's got a bit of a I couldn't really say he's got a tyre glitch because he's going fairly fast up at the front still. But he is starting to get these other guys to now group up behind him. Won't be too long either that we'll have the cash cow car. Probably going to be a four-way battle.
And then we've got a Logical and Harkinell not too far behind again, so then 3-second gap behind Sirius.
Yeah, and it looks like Farkennel has actually dropped away a little bit, has he? Just a little bit, not too bad.
He's matching a Logical at the moment.
Yeah, he's just got one of the cars that have rejoined that were a lap down just to join in, which is the number 33 car, the Devil X car, which I think he jumped one lap too early, but we won't hold that against him. That's fine, and we want the guys racing anyway. So he was the last man that had to start.
It is a new driver to the group, so we always welcome new drivers to jump on board and experience what this group has to offer.
Yeah, definitely. Just come and have a look at us on Facebook, ANZCRL or ANZ Combined Racing League, either one. Search for the groups. And we're here for the Australian New Zealand residents because it just keeps our racing in the right time zone and the ping rate's low. And yeah, so if you're interested, come and have a look at us there on the Facebook, or you'll find us also on our website, aus-nzcrl.weebly.com. And here's Darky making that move down the inside, and Weary Knight wanted nothing of it, and he's turned in on him. He probably didn't know that Darky was actually having that dive, but maybe he should have, because that battle's been going on for quite a while. It wasn't like a surprise move, but anyway.
Hope not too much damage has been done on that.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And we just have to feel his way through this up around the top to make sure everything's okay. But from first down into fourth now with Weary Knight, he won't be happy with what he did there. I think that he could have given Darky a bit of room. It looked like it was a pretty aggressive turn in the hell corner. They call it hell corner for the right reasons. Turn one, and up around here into Reed Park, the famous grate, and over to McPhillamy. And when you hear normally on a race weekend, sometimes you see the famous Lego Man, which, as we know, is our man that's in third at the moment, who Weary Knight is just trying to chase back down. Dark Racing 40.
I don't think Weary's going to be too impressed, so he's going to be on the throttle, and he's going to be keen to get back on the end of the tail of Dark Racing's.
Well, that's it. A lot of guys, we know all one another. We all respect one another too, but we always say have a little bit of cheek. And I wouldn't be surprised if we also find Weary Knight, if he's got the opportunity, as Darky's having a look down here at the cash cow, and it looks like he's just let him through. He lifted off. You just noticed the car back off then to let Darky through. But I was going to say that Weary Knight would like to probably give him a little bit of a rough touch up as well, Darky, a little bit up the old famous V8 Supercars hello, I'm here. Bump up the back of the bumper.
And we've got Matty Seeking in the chat, which is Commander Sirius's partner. He's hoping, please Sirius, I'm not going to have the pace to continue in second.
So you think that's why it went down the radio and why he backed off, eh?
He's backed off. I'll drop down to third for you, Matty.
Right, boss. Anyway, so back at it, and the mid packs there's not much really going on. They've just got to settle themselves down by the looks of things. Timmy's been able to get away from Lolux a little bit. As we saw, I think it was Lolux actually had to go into the pits for some reason, so be interested to know why. Because those two were on the same lap. They were both going to be 2 laps down. So as you can see up there, we've got lap 6 for Timmy, and the leaders are on lap 8, so we're 2 laps down at the moment with Timmy. We've it looks like we've also got, just coming up behind there, is Muppet Gonzo, and if he can get in front of Timmy, who's actually the the guy that's
Ooh.
actually the only guy that's actually 2 laps down, if he can actually get in front of him.
Found the wall a
but
couple of
that's not
times by the looks of that. Before that hit there, he had a bit of damage to that front right, and that
Yeah,
definitely
that's
probably
unfortunate.
won't help the
So
suspension in that front right, I don't reckon.
no, and not the ability to try and get that lap, so he can be the same 2 laps down.
Definitely a bit of damage there. Be a little bit right hand down there, so it'll be interesting to see if he fits.
Yeah, I think that if they start dropping their times, what are these guys are really doing, what, 205s roughly, you could say, the mid-pack. I think if they start dropping to around about 210s or something like that, you'd probably think that it's worthwhile pitting. Even 209s. If they can do 208s, definitely I'd stay out with the paces that a lot of these mid-pack are doing. It just depends how much of a handful the car is. But it's a beautiful day out there at Bathurst on the sim track at the moment. Nice, a few clouds, scattered clouds, medium cloud setting. The guys will be lapping this up. They're probably looking at track temperatures around that 47 degrees at the moment. Most of them running softs. These V8s don't really enjoy the hard tyres, and most of the guys have been able to make the softs work in the hotter temperatures as well. As we see our young bloke, Devil X, he's been doing a good job.
Not a bad lap time for first out too, mid 204, so he's definitely sitting in last place at the moment. He's just definitely not the slowest car out in the track either.
No, and I'm sure you'll have some company of some of these other guys. We don't let anyone drop more than 6 laps down in the race, so he will have some guys in the final session to be able to try and battle and make up a spot. At the moment we were at 13. We did have Knight Pegasus, who did not be able to take to the grid. He's been a no-show, unfortunately, which is Jetto's teammate. It was meant to be in 7th position, only 1 lap down, so it's a bit tough for Jetto here in the commentary booth, knowing the work that he put in for the first 2 sessions. But anyway, that number 12 Jet K Gloves team may be back for the final session and be able to try and battle for those minor positions with Devil X and anyone else that may drop down to 6 laps down or more.
No, I would have jumped in, but bit of an ankle injury to myself. I've got to have surgery on it, so it's pulled up a bit sore from the double stint that I did yesterday. So yeah, that's why I'm in the commentary box and not racing.
Yeah, no, wise decision. Got to look after your own health. But at this moment here, I'm just looking at this battle's fairly interesting here. We've got Devil X, who we're looking at, just obviously taking a little cheeky into Farkennel in the 48 Squadreca exhaust system, who's currently running 6 and on the lead lap as well. So this is going to be a point where Farkennel's going to have to actually start thinking, should I just let this bloke go? As most of us guys, we don't really know how he races. But from what I gather, he's a young fella with a lot of ability. So obviously some of the guys do make a few little mistakes here and there, but he's been pretty good generally with the lap traffic yesterday. I think that you might have had a little bit of an issue, Jetto, but I don't think too many people did though.
Nice clean racing, as I said. Everyone has a couple of issues every now and then. Speaking of issues, it's definitely come undone coming up over the mountain there.
And that is a mistake that I think everyone can attest to, that has happened to them there in this game, coming out of the cut-in, up over the rise there, and that power just bites you straight on the inside of the wall and flips you around. What exactly happened to him happened to me last year at Bathurst, actually. We had a very good car with Lockie 5.5s, and that's what happened to me, and ruined any of our chance. As you can see, it's all over the shot. So he's going to be visiting the pit lane. Ooh. Not something that Dark Lord would like to see.
He's done well to keep that on the side and not in the middle of the track there for Dark Lord to get through as well.
Oh, here comes Timmy behind him.
let him through there. Okay.
Yeah, and when you've got a damaged car too down there, you just got to be careful because the car's wanting to crab everywhere. So we're back here with Commander Cirrus in third.
Looks like he's had a bit of a slow lap that last lap. Dropped a little bit of time.
Yeah, maybe he just had to have check out of a little moment. But obviously the car looks fairly straight. Doesn't look like it's had a visit to the wall.
It's Darky's on point doing mid 203s and Weary's mid 204s after their little come together the last couple of laps.
Yeah, maybe picked up a little bit of damage, but I think it won't be enough to worry him. He'll just obviously want to be knowing that, as we said, it's a long session. We've still got another, what have we got, 29 laps remaining. And this is basically buying a ticket for this final session. And they want to try and hand it over to their teammates, or if they're doing a double stint, be in a good position. As we said, we've got 6 cars on the lead lap. Separated by 16 seconds as well, so at this rate that they're going, it looks like it's a very good possibility, for bar any incidents, that all those 6 cars should still stay on the same lap at the end of this session.
That's it. It's definitely going to make for an entertaining and definitely going to want to tune in for that final session.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of our closest Bathurst that we've seen to date. And getting back to there, I'll see if we can try and look at some of our fastest race times that we've had, laps.
We jump on board with our leader, Dredd, who's lapping definitely the quickest in the lap. We might as well jump on board and see him go through this circuit for a lap.
Yeah, enjoy.
That tricky little corner you were talking of before, where you just got to throttle on and off. Coming through and up around the corner here, where we saw Devil come unstuck.
And you just hear there, you heard Dredd there just playing with his throttle over the hump.
Off the throttle there just to steady the car coming around.
As they jump down into the second gear, you can see they just take their time, dropping their gears, keep the car nice and straight.
Hard on the accelerator out of that corner until you're hard on the brakes again. The hairpin. Open up that throttle down.
Famous
straight.
Forest elbow, with Dick Johnson straight into the trees before they had the barriers.
Down the straight should be hitting excess of 290 clicks. And hard on the brakes into second gear to pull up the car.
Yeah, the brakes get a punishment at the bottom there of Conrod straight into the chase, that's for sure. There's a lap, eh? It's courtesy of Dredd in that number 3 Mondelin. Yeah, it was 203.
Looking at that, Darky pulled a 202.7 that last lap, so he's on the money.
So the fastest lap that we've seen around here was last year, was I think it was Sado, 15, Highlander's teammate in the number 3 Team Mondelin car. So this car has been at the pointy end of the grids for the last few Bathurst 1000s with a 201.045. So as I said, Dredd's time of a 201.1 something or other, I think it was, from the first session, is fairly close. So still not breaking the lap record yet of the race record. The lap record actually goes to, I believe it's Blade Racer, with a 159.379 in qualifying. So that was a sensational lap last year. But we had
No.
3 guys in the 159s last year. We had Sato and also Triple Rotor Racing in the qualifying. So it was a fairly hectic qualifying session, that's for sure.
I think we only had the one in the 159s, and there was 2 or 3 in the 2-minute flats this year, I believe. And
Yeah, something like that, yeah. But I think the overall race, as I said, there was only 3 cars on the lead lap at the end of the race last year. So
double on it
that's,
at the stage.
yeah, and then I'll look at 2018. 2017, when we ran it the first time, was when the game was only released and there was too many glitches and we only did 1 session. We had to cancel it because we were having tyre bug and pit stop issues and everything. It still carry on to this game now, but it's a little bit better. It's a bit more reliable. And again, we only had 3 cars finish on the lead lap in, what was it, 2018. So the last 2 years, we've only had 3 on the lead lap, so the pace here and the competition's fairly stiff. It's a credit to all our members.
Been pretty clean. So far through the whole of the race, through the first 2 sessions and this session, there hasn't been a lot of incident.
No, the only incident really was probably where it could have got nasty, and it was lucky that Dredd was actually on the had the pole position when his car went straight in, at the first corner. Had no input in his wheel, had to reset his wheel. So, and that session there, you have to give him credit. Being at the last, probably about 50 seconds off or more, because he's had to have a pit stop. I mean, reset his wheel and everything. And I think he finished, what did he finish? I think it was 4th or something.
He was 4th by the end of it. He was 4th by the end of that session. So having a hardware issue, having a pit stop, going a good 50 seconds down, and then clawing that back, that was one hell of a drive.
Definitely. Here he's actually out here still in the lead now. So all that hard work, as you can see, things can go wrong in a lot of our long endurance type events, and you just stick in with it and you never know what might eventuate. So you know, some guys might have kicked the bucket, you know, knowing that something's gone wrong with their hardware, but Dredd had the perseverance to have a look at his hardware and reset it and get going. And knowing that he had the pace, he just concentrated on keeping on the lead lap, which he did. And the rest is history. Leading the race here on lap 14 of this session, which would be 94 laps in the race.
We're looking at Logical Sports, which is your teammate at the moment, Woody. So he's sitting in an okay position for you to buy that ticket through to the last session. So he's doing well. His last lap of 2:03, so he's definitely not just sitting around. He's driving quite well.
Yeah, we've got a good car set up for this bit of warmer weather that we're seeing here this year. Last year we had a bit of rain in our event.
Yeah,
but the
session
car's
3
obviously a lot
last year,
better.
I think it was. Wasn't a fun one. I definitely didn't drive that section.
It was a tough one, that one. But yeah, so definitely we've got a nice little car, and our driving style both are similar. So it's sort of this. There's no difference in our setups at all. It's exactly the same, and we're both enjoying the experience. I put him here in the old Dado position right at the moment. This is what Dado does in a lot of these events. Finds himself where he's not getting pressured by a hot pace or anything. He just finds himself in a nice little spot and counts the laps down. And when it comes to the business end of the race, that's when you'll see Dado put a bit of pressure wherever he can. So yeah, so he's
very consistent driver, Dado.
That's it. So at the moment, Logical's not getting sucked in to try and keep up with anyone, and he hasn't got anyone on his tail, and he can just concentrate on those laps, and it's a good spot to be, really. As we know, there's a lot of pressure when you've got someone right behind you, or you're trying to keep up with someone. As you know, you might be a little bit faster here or there, but then you just try that little bit extra harder and end up in the wall. So it's a fine balance.
On that groove and lap in, lap out, basically, the next session.
But looking behind him in Far Kennel, oh, there's Timmy. That's a great shot coming over there over Skyline. But Timmy I mean, Far Kennel, we haven't seen him and since, I don't know if he did the Daytona 24 hour, but he's a good mate of Right Sower. And as we know, Right Sower's been super fast here this weekend. And
I don't think he's driven with us since last year, I don't believe.
Yeah, we used to know him as RSJ 37 for anyone that's wondering. But yeah, so he's doing a good job of coming in here, especially these tricky V8s. So you know, and he's keeping a good little pace. He's doing those, keeping in those 204s. So you know, obviously that's all he wants to do, and that's their plan, is keep on this lead lap and give it back to Right Sower. It doesn't care if he's going to be 6th or wherever, because he's got the pace. And he's one of those guys I think you can see battling for a podium with Commander Cirrus, Weary Knight, ourselves. So if anything goes wrong with obviously Darky and Dread in those two Mondelez cars, everyone be ready to pounce, that's for sure. So all these guys want that opportunity to be able to do that too. So it's all about, as we can see, Lolux's car not looking very healthy at all.
Definitely found a wall there at some point around the circuit.
Yeah.
Darby,
a lot of these guys
12,
too.
So pit window will very soon be open for him. So has he got enough damage to gain a couple more laps, or is he going to have to make a double pit stop?
Yeah, about lap 15. He's got to get to about lap 15. Well, it would be a window, because actually at the moment lap 16 of the leaders are on, so he could pit now and he could get to the end if he feels his tank's up. May have to do a bit of fuel conserving, but pretty much could get to the end if he pits now. But a lot of these guys...
Is that one of the leaders?
Yeah, that's Dread coming down.
Done well to get out of his way, and he stays out.
Yeah, I thought he might have tried to switch back in straight in the pits there, but a lot of these guys too. Oh, as we can just see, he's doing the famous spin at the final corner.
Oh, all right, he's sitting on the inside of that corner, so...
As he's trying to find reverse gear there, he's right on the exit, and the cash cow cars come through, luckily at the right time.
And everyone's got through unscathed by the looks of that.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a moment, isn't it, when you come around there and see a car just fully sideways parked up on the exit. You know, you get on the anchors and you end up putting yourself in the wall or something as well. So here we go. So we got at number 52. And Commander Jim, wasn't it? Yeah, so yeah, all these guys are Super 2 drivers, a lot of these guys. So they've been in the series and they've been running the assists that they can use, and we allow them to have their ABS traction control and stability control in the game, and performance, impact and damage only. But obviously, being this Bathurst 1000 being a special event, as Commander Jim's just taking that spot. Anyway, and yeah, so it's just these guys have got a bit to learn, because obviously all those assists are off for this event, and also the full damage. So they're all obviously got a little bit that they're trying to battle at the same time, trying to learn the difference from what they've been running in the last 2 rounds.
We've got quite a few cars with a bit of damage at the moment just sticking through, so they should get that repaired in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, we noticed that when we were talking about Muppet, almost it was up around the top here when we were saying that he was getting close to getting on to the same lap as the car behind him.
We have Dark Lord in the pits.
Yeah, looks like the pit crew are having a coffee break. They weren't happy about that one, so they look like they're refusing to do anything, but they are. As you can see, the hospitality units up there, they're all enjoying a nice cold drink in these warmer conditions.
Kennel is coming through some lap traffic at the moment, so this comes through. We must have... He's catching up to Commander Jim. Low Lux behind him with the damage.
Yeah, so Farkennel's just just staying in sight there of Illogical Sports in front, so staying in touch.
About second and a half, so not too far behind.
Yeah, all in a very good position. With the two Mondelin cars still doing 203s at this stage of the race on what is it, lap 18, so yeah, it was definitely want a nice flowing car around the top, don't you, Jetto?
A stable car around the top,
it.
definitely.
Yeah.
If you can set up a nice stable car coming up the mountain and down, as we've seen, it's where 90% of the self-inflicted accidents occur.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely key, I think. A nice stable car. Might be a little bit slower in the straights, but as long as you've got a stable coming up and down that mountain, I think that's where you definitely make up your time, or where your race can be lost.
So we've also got, as looking here, Dark Lord and Evil. They're not too far behind one another. Then they'll be on the same lap now. So they're both on lap 13. So there you go. But well, we know that Devil actually started probably a lap too early. But again, at least they're going to have a bit of a battle there, a bit of enjoyment. But as you can see, his Devil's car's not looking too good. So he's going to be in for a lengthy pit stop.
I don't think he's pitted since we saw that accident coming down Conrad.
No, as in Dark Lord actually, as you can see, the car's he's still fighting against the car, so I don't know. I think, obviously, I did hear him mention a comment, which I thought was a bit funny at the end of session 2 there. He said he was fighting the car and his wheel was at a 30-degree angle, or 20-odd degree angle for most of the race. I'm thinking, oh, maybe he's not obviously selecting for damage, the right damage to be repaired, like suspension and things. I'm not too sure. So, but anyway, hopefully that he's got that, so when he comes in for his pit stop, that he'll get all his suspension and everything fixed up, so he can go back out with a straight car. As we know that Dark Lord, we saw him earlier in the pits, so he's obviously, that's why he's fallen back there.
You see this gap between Commander Cirrus and Weary Knight is simply staying the same for the last 10 laps. You look at their last lap times, there is not much in that at all.
Not at all, no. So yeah, it's definitely a going to be seen who blinks first and goes into the pits as well. We know that Weary Knight ran very late in session 2. I think it wasn't until about lap 26 or so that he pitted, I think. Could have even been a bit later than that as well. So he had the lead of the race for quite a while after after Dark Racing 40 and Simo pitted.
Yeah, well, we're on lap 19 at the moment, so I'd almost be expecting the leaders to be coming in the next lap or two.
Yeah, give a nice new fresh life to the tyres. As it looks like the camp smoke's just starting to come over the side. It's, as you said, right on cue. Illogical's come in.
It might have been a planned pit strategy, being the co-driver of this Woody coming in at lap 19.
Yeah, I think it's one lap early, but as we said, we've all got our own little how we wanted to do it. I did actually pit on 22 instead of 20 last night, so I think it's how we feel in the race as well. I think as well how we're all going, where we are, and maybe he's wanting to try and get a little bit of a gap over Far Kennel. So hopefully he can probably get out, do a couple of quick laps with fresh tyres, and then when Far Kennel comes in, maybe there'll be a bit of a time difference there.
Try and get the undercut, which I think in the first session, and we saw Matty Seeking do a really good undercut. I think he was sitting at 10th and come out right on Dread's tail, sitting at about 5th, I think. with his pit strategy
Yeah,
pitting a little
okay.
bit earlier.
Yeah, so it definitely does help, but then you've got those tyres you've got to hold on to for the rest of the race. So as we know, the last 3 or 4 laps can get a little bit sketchy, and it's not something where you want to be as Dread's coming in now, running a good race, dictating the pace.
Ooh, runs a bit wide.
And I had an issue myself in the second session where I was coming out of the chase trying to find, I was in the dark in my room and I couldn't find the right button on my steering wheel to request the pit stop, and ended up scurrying straight over into the wall at the chase. So luckily,
Seen first.
well, they're all coming in. They've all jumped.
Got to say, 1, 2, and 3 have come in, but Weary Knight has stayed out.
Yeah,
Looking at
exactly what he
Weary's
did.
time, he's done a 2:03.8, so it's definitely not a slow lap. Is he going to unleash for a couple of laps to try and get that jump on Commander Cirrus, who's ahead of him?
He must have those tyres that just seem to just tick on as the race goes on, because he did this exactly the same thing in session 2. And as those guys are having a nice party up in those corporate boxes there above the pit bays, having a great view of all that pit action going on. There you go. I think by the looks of that, Darky's gained a lot of time
Darky's
on
done
Dread.
a jump. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gained a lot of time. He was about 8 or 9 seconds behind him at the time when they pitted. I think it was 8 seconds, and he's right on him.
Darky's running at 88 litres and Dread, so Dread's probably taken an extra 10 to 12 litres, which...
Yeah, it's probably a bit too much fuel. Not that much though. Darky's cutting it fine, I think. You probably want... What's he got? Oh no, you probably just be right. I was going to say you need roughly around about 88 to 90 litres of fuel at this stage to get to the end. I'm sure that they've worked it out fairly well though.
Definitely made it interesting up the top now.
Yeah, and this is where you can find that Darky pushes too hard. He may come unstuck, you know, we don't want that to see that happen, but this is what I was saying where Illogical was doing what I call the old dado, where you just find yourself in a nice spot and you're not trying to chase down anyone too hard, or you've not got someone right on your back hounding you. But at this stage here, this could be the turning point of the race too for session 3. If Darky can also cause maybe Dread into a accident as well.
It's Weary's just gone through in another 2:03.9 for another lap, and it looks like he stayed out again. So it's going to be interesting to see what time Commander Cirrus's outlap is, and if he can actually catch up, get that undercut.
Yeah, maybe. But as why he's doing those 2:03s, I think Weary will be in a safe place. But Darky's doing everything he can do here to really hold on to the back of Dread. Just really spicing things up here halfway through this stint, this session. As they go up the mountain for the, well, it'll be 102nd time in accumulating of all our laps we've done so far.
Just over halfway through this session. 18 more laps to go.
And it's always a good feeling to get to this stage without an incident. We know Darky and Weary Knight, they really battled it hard. And I thought also that obviously Darky didn't get any damage when he's turned in on him on the front there, so because otherwise he would have been in the pits for a little bit longer. And as we've seen, Darky made tons of time on Dread in the pits by short filling, putting less fuel in, I should say. I don't think short filling, he'll be right on the limit though, Jetto. I don't think we have much to spare at the end of 40 laps.
I think Dado's saying about 85 litres should get you home, so he's going to be right on the cusp of that, so it'll be an interesting last couple of laps.
Yeah, especially as he's using a little bit more fuel chasing down Dredd too. If he's revving that a little bit higher, holding the higher gears for a little bit longer.
But I reckon Dredd probably took on a bit more fuel, because I have noticed in a lot of the past series as well, he doesn't tend to start with a full tank of fuel. He tends to start with a few litres short, so might have had to take on those few extra litres than everyone else. So.
Yeah, could be.
Weary's still out 204.1 that last lap.
So what did Commander Cirrus do on his outlap? Was a 2:15
outlap.
There.
So next lap
and both Dredd and Darky did 2:12. So you can see it was a bit slower. He's about 3 seconds or 2 seconds off that pace, 2 or 3 seconds off that pace. And his second lap we should see shortly come up on our screen, 2:04. So he's still not quite far. Like Weary's still going faster than Commander Cirrus.
I can't quite remember what the gap was at the start of the pit stops between the two. I think it was only about 2 seconds, wasn't it? 1.5, 2 seconds.
Actually, yeah, you're right. You are, Jed. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So, yeah, Weary's sitting very pretty here to maybe leapfrog Commander Cirrus. Was Weary Knight in front of Commander Cirrus, what were we saying, or was Commander Cirrus...
Commander Cirrus was 1.5 seconds to 2 in front of Weary. So.
Weary, okay. So while he's doing these times, he's best to stay out because he's lapping a little bit faster than Commander Cirrus, even with these older tyres.
There we go. Cirrus's first lap, 2:04.2. So he's would probably want to pit this lap or next lap, I reckon. Hey now.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get held up here with Commander, or is it not Commander Jim? Yeah.
He's got 13 litres of fuel, so got 3 more laps in him if he wants, but let that tyre wear and those lap times come down.
See that traffic cost him a bit. He's 2:06.44, so that's 2 seconds off his pace he was doing. As far Kennel has gone in now, so he's decided to say, well, let's see what happens with him and Illogical Sports. He was a little bit slower than Illogical that last lap that he had done, compared to Illogical's time of a 2:04.
Yep.
So I don't think there'll be much change there.
Asking, what are the time penalties so far? So let's have a bit of a look at that. So, looking at that, Weary Knight's actually got a 2 second time penalty at the top there. Commander Cirrus has a 2 penalty well, but look down the bottom. Marp Bonzo with a 50-second time penalty. So he's on the he's right on the verge of if he picks up anything else, he's in trouble for a disqualification.
Yeah, drive through. Is it disqualification or drive through that they get? I don't know what it is.
I thought I was thinking it was a disqualification if you hit the max, but might be wrong.
Yeah, because there's that setting. Yeah, I'm not too sure. It's a weird sort of setting that they have. They have a setting when you have 30 seconds or something for a drive-through, but it never works that way. It's only if you jump to start you get a drive-through. Something in the bug in the game that never got fixed, obviously. But we continue on with Project Cars 2. I don't think any of us here currently racing on this in the ANZ Combined Racing League have actually purchased Project Cars 3, other than I think Gear 3 Gaming, only so we can do a review on his Triple Crown Racing or whatever it is, Triple Crown Racing or something, right? YouTube channel.
I think his last review was, I think it was him trading it back in, I believe. So
there you go. And the pile's ever getting bigger at JB Hi-Fi and EB Games.
That's it.
And it looks like Evil has now pitted. So
Finally
he's
pitted.
in the pits at the moment.
So,
so hopefully he'll get his car fixed up.
It'll be a long pit stop, I'm thinking. It'll be a couple of minute pit stop by the looks of the damage on the front end of that.
Yeah, definitely. The Weary Knight's still electing to stay out. I think he's going to pull it at 26 laps like he did the session 2.
He's only got one more lap really in him, so he's definitely going to have to either pit one more lap after this one. At what, 4.4,
Yeah, now this,
4.5 litres roughly, I think you're burning around here.
yeah, and at this rate that he's doing, I think he's going to come out behind Sirius. But it depends how much fuel he puts in too. If Sirius put more fuel in, because I remember I watched the time that Weary Knight was in the pits while I was racing last night and in session 2, and it didn't look like he was in the pits for all that long either. So I think he's got his fuel, the amount of fuel that goes into T, I think. So
It'll be interesting. I think it's going to be close.
yeah.
Looking at that last lap, Commander Sirius has found pace again, so he's in the low 203s. So
Yeah, so will he be pitting here at the end of lap 25, or will he go one more? I'm saying that he'll probably pull out one more just to see what he can do. He's already gone for it, so he thinks, well, might as well try it and see what he can do with Cirrus. Yeah.
Christian,
You may as well, if you can't half-hearted do it. That's what I say, Jetto. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it to the distance. So
but yeah, his times are starting
out.
slow, so mid 204 for that one. So definitely not as quick as what he was early on. So I reckon he's actually probably gone 2 laps too long. I think he would have been better to come in 2 laps ago, but that he had a 206 previous to that because he got caught up in lap traffic as well. So that's probably really cost him.
Yeah, he should have actually, that's when, I think you're right, that would have been 2 laps ago, Jetto, and that's when he should have dived in the pits when he knew that he was coming up to, it was Commander Jim, I believe it was, in that number 52 pace motorsport car, and that was just coming out of the chase, so he had the opportunity to actually dive into the pits at that time.
Well, I'm looking at that Muppet Gonzo in front of Dredd. That front end of that car is still hanging by the thread again, so he's had another incident somewhere around the track after his last pit stop.
Yeah, unfortunate for those guys. Just fuels the fire for them to come back next year, see what they can do, and better it.
Could hurt Dredd here, coming up the mountain catching Muppet. Not a lot of overtaking places. Going to pull Darky up a lot closer. He's definitely held up there. Well,
that's probably the only. He was lucky because that's probably that spot, and also over Skyline's probably the only places that you can really safely let someone through, I reckon.
Now can Darky get through?
So that's where Darky is now. So probably if you can get him before they go over Skyline, but he's a bit too far behind.
And an alright pace to keep going through here, by the looks of it. So.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Oh, he's just seemed like he was a bit out of sorts there, and Darky's just got through. That was so close. As Weary Knights has come into the pits at the same time, and it looks like he's going to have a visitor very shortly with...
Oh no! Sirius has hit him over the top of the mountain.
No, and then we've got Timmy coming through too.
Timmy's collected him in a big way.
If we could put out a red flag, this would be red flag. But here we go. We've got, hopefully the guys are talking through the comms that there is an incident up here.
But this is the big question. How much damage has Commander Sirius had in that cursed cash cow car?
It does. It just doesn't look too. It doesn't look bad. I didn't actually see it. I was looking at my other monitor at the time, and
the front left.
If you saw it live, was it?
There's the front left. He sort of cleaned him up on the front left. He sort of swerved to the right to miss him and just sort of nicked him through the front.
I'd say he's got out of trouble there because his headlights are still going. So you
Weary's
probably
leaving
find
the
his aero
pits.
might be okay.
There's Sirius coming down the front straight.
And this has helped Weary Knight with that incident up the top, which he wouldn't even know unless they've actually communicated that over the comms. So he's actually leapfrogged Sirius with that incident, but from not Sirius's doing. Wow, it's all happening.
There we go.
As Timmy is in the pits, and obviously we'll be thinking that Muppet Gonzo should be there shortly.
The front end doesn't look too bad, but we'll see in the next few laps with Commander Sirius to see if he can keep that pace up or if he has suffered any sort of damage.
Yeah, I'm
But looking at
just thinking if he
it all looks pretty
won't
straight.
be able, yeah. Obviously, always got to be a little bit to the left here because it's constant turning. But looks like it's not too bad. Just there where it's normally straight, it looks straight. Yeah. Oh, decided to take the escape route.
Yeah, just I reckon his heart rate's just slowly starting to come down. It's going to take him a couple of laps to get back into his groove, I think, as it normally does
yeah,
when
definitely.
you have anything like that.
And he'd be a bit annoyed that it did happen to him too, because obviously he did have that overlap from that undercut, definitely from pitting earlier.
That's
does
it.
it look
Without
like he's
that
fighting
incident,
it down here at all, Dado? If we go back in car, if we can see it, I got my doubts if it is a little bit left hand down at all. Oh no, it looks all right.
anything ever so slightly, but I don't know. I reckon it might be all right.
It might have just got out of trouble by it side glancing, like we were saying before. If you side glance the cars on the wall, you can get away with not getting any damage. So he may be just right. If anything, he might have the smallest amount on the suspension, if anything. So as you can see, Muppet's there in the pits, just coming out.
You got to feel for Muppet too. There's nothing worse than making a mistake over the top of the mountain, and your car's sitting across the track. You know there's lap traffic coming through, and there's literally nothing you can do about it. So it's not a good feeling.
Yeah, I know, and it's just one of those things that, as most people that have that know that, you know, we here at ANZCRL Combined Racing League are fairly passionate with the game of project cars too, and we're just hoping to see all the ability to be able to throw cautions and do different things in Project Cars 3. Have the ability, as you know, they pushed having these broadcast booth that we're currently using at the moment, where we could, and a race director, we could actually have, you know, had the options to broadcast that to the guys with comms, or you know, put a red flag to an event or anything like that. You know, so many options that they could have probably tried to implement into the game. But anyway, the rest is history there. But they're the things that me personally would have loved to have seen, because I think for league racing, not everyone would use it, but if it was an option that people could use it, something that we just saw there, we could have called the yellow flag, even a red flag, and had all the cars, you know, reset themselves and get back to racing once everything got cleared up. So the track was definitely blocked there once Timmy came through. But anyway, as you said, yeah, you sit and duck there, and nothing you can do. So Muppet, you know, as you know, it takes about 3 or 4 turns to get around once you're facing that way through there, down through the S's. Get pointing back in the right direction.
I think Cirrus has definitely lost a little bit of time to Weary at the moment. This lap will tell me the difference, but that gap looks to have opened up a little bit.
Yeah, I think he may have a bit of damage, to tell the truth, or he's just looked at the situation that he's in at the moment. He's got a 20-second lead over Illogical. He's sitting 4th, and what do we got? We got 11 laps remaining in this session.
11 laps to
go. He may just call this, you know, he might be, you know, throwing the white towel in and think, well, I'll just hold here.
That's it. Hold this spot. That gives him a ticket to the last session. Everyone's going to bunch back up, and it's basically hell for leather in the last session.
And starting 4th isn't too bad, as we saw. It's a good area to get a little draft up the mountain straight, and you know what's going on. And Frank Kendall's doing a tremendous job there in 6th. So at this stage, we've still got 6 cars on the lead lap.
That draft up mountain straight from the starts is for the next level sometimes. You sit in third or fourth, you're getting a double draft. The extra speeds that you pull up coming that first right-hander, it's definitely makes a difference.
And a very good spot to overtake too, because you can really get down. 2 cars can get through there side by side quite comfortably, and the car on the outside can really fight for that position, because he knows then he's got the next 2 little left-handers, like the little left-hander before the cutting, so he can really hold that, defend that position. So a nice little part of the racetrack there through Griffin's Bend, turn 2. Oh, there we go with Illogical there. Just
he's got a bit of damage to that front end, I think. He does.
Yeah, he touched the early in the race, just here, right here, Jetto, into the barriers just before the dipper with Far Kennel behind him. So
Was that
lucky.
prior to pit stop or after that?
Oh, that was before the pit stop. Yeah.
He might not have
But maybe
repaired
he
that
didn't
full
have-
damage. Yeah.
Yeah, or could be repaired, but on our screen it's still showing up as marks there.
Those little glitches that sometimes occur.
Yeah.
But
just
your
looking down
teammate,
the
he's still
field
lapping
there, we
alright,
got-
205s.
Yeah, doing a great job. As this is a bit more than camp smoke now. There must be nearby fires with this haziness that's coming through, but Bathurst bringing it on now.
Never know what's happening up on the mountain, mate. Anything's possible up there.
That's it. Could be back in the old days and they're burning the old Holden and Fords or all that sort of stuff that they used to do at night. But Muppet Gonzo and Dark Lord, who had to pit early, is now what, 15 seconds, something like that, behind. So there's a good possibility that Dark Lord might be challenging there for 10th by the end of the race if he can find a bit of pace. If that damage we see is not hampering him too much.
And look at Far Kennel. He's doing some quick laps at the moment, so he's definitely catching the logical at the moment. But if he gets caught trying to overlap these back markers here at the moment, these lap cars, it could hold him up a little bit.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see, this is what Commander Jim did last time, he pulled over.
He's done well there.
Yeah, so he's a very, he knows what's going on around him, so he's got good spatial awareness, Commander Jim.
He brushes the wall.
Well, ability might be another thing there, but I won't go into that. No, Commander Jim is a very good driver here. Obviously, the damage he's probably nursing is not the best for his car at the moment. Yeah, I'm very impressed by Far Kennel's his pace here tonight. I'll keep saying tonight because we're used to running series in the night, but this afternoon. And definitely is holding on to that 6th spot very solidly, and who knows, by the end of the race, another 10 remaining. He could be up in 5th.
Oh, that's it. Definitely looking forward to this last
Actually,
session. It's going to have. I think we're still going to have all 6 cars on the lead lap. So
yeah, fingers crossed it stays like this. All these guys have been super consistent, so there's no reason why they should find themselves in too much drama where they'll drop a lap. So what do they got? They're 50 odd seconds off the lead. 6th is, so
it's
not too
Darky's
bad.
dropped a few seconds to Dread in the last few laps. So Dread's managed to pull out a 4-second lead.
Yeah, but Highlander, I think we're sitting back here fairly pretty at the moment. But geez, Highlander's going to be battling with his old teammate, Simo Racing.
It's going to be an interesting final session, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's going to be something. You know, they've had some great victories together, and now they're going to be, they're in the same team but different cars. So yeah.
Question is,
it's going to be very interesting.
Is Highlander going to finish first or second? He's renowned for finishing second place.
And currently leading the championship in the Supercar Series as well. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be race on. I don't think well, obviously Weary Knight and Simo are wild card entries. They're not actually in the series, so I don't think they're going to do anything nice, because at the end of the day, these guys want to win. As we said, it's part of the Triple Crown, and they're not in the series, so they're not going to. And Highlander coming second will still get a boost out of the championship because none of his competitors are in front of him. So, yeah.
Bathurst
no
always
reason
wants
for
him,
anyone
though.
to let anyone out.
He's always the bridesmaid, never the bride, you could say.
Yeah, and that's the same as Darky. So Darky's the one that's teamed up with Highlander, and we'll soon see what might happen here by, I think it's scheduled to finish around 6:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time today. as I said, we'll have about a half an hour or so break after this session, and then we'll be back in it again for the final 41 laps.
It looks like Olux and Timmy, there's only about 7 seconds between the two of them at the moment. Both of them with quite a bit of damage, so Timmy's front end and rear spoiler have seen better days. And
Yeah,
Lolux really looks to be fighting that car.
Looks like they're doing their Gen 3 testing for aero at the moment. We don't need wings.
They can't repair their car because there's obviously no pits.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so that's one of your closest battles on track at the moment, but then we've also got a Logical and Kennel, only 3 seconds between them at the moment.
And if our timing's right on the monitor there, it's not much between the leaders either, so but that's been around that 4 second for quite a while. So, and again, this position for 5th between a Logical and Far Kennel's, I think, going to go all the way down to the wire.
What do we got? 3.7. So Darky's managed to pull in a little bit of time there on Dread. Dread's catching up to a couple of back markers here by the looks of it, so coming up to the mountain as well. Not the ideal place to catch. Might allow Darky
to... as we know, he's been battered around quite a bit, his car.
The Dread gets through and doesn't hold him up too much.
Which Lolux is driving the number 6 Besman Automotive team, which used to be, or Darky used to like driving the number 5 Besman Automotive team. Used to be Darky's weapon of choice, livery of choice. Ooh, I don't know if that's a bit of glitching going on with Lolux.
Yeah,
because it seemed
the dirt popped up there, or I don't know if he's concrete balustrade. He seems to be doing alright times. If his car's that damaged, I wouldn't have thought he would have been doing that quick over the mountain.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying, that maybe it's been copped from a bit of glitching where the car's actually hitting the wall and he's not really in the wall. Things like that.
Times are starting to come down again now, so lead 3 are all doing 203s.
Yeah, the tyres seem to, after the first little bit, did you notice that, like, you get those lap times in and then halfway through your tyre life, they seem to drop off that little bit, like they sort of, I don't know if they call it graining or not, and then they seem to come back again. Yeah, and you start seeing your pace, but that could also be your fuel load as well, dropping.
Speaking of fuel loads, what we got left for Dread? Yeah, he's going to be home.
Oh yeah, he won't have a problem at all.
It was Darky that we were worried about, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
33 remaining.
I think he'll be alright.
7 laps. Yeah. You should make it by a good lap and a half worth of fuel, I reckon.
And he's got a little bit of a buffer where if he needs to conserve, he can over Weary Night.
That's it. It's not a race to the podium. It's just, as you said, it's a ticket into the next session.
Yeah, and give it to Highlander in second, right behind, as we said, his fellow teammate, Simo. I think Simo's taking the final session. Originally, I think it was going to be Dread because they had that little stuff up at the start where I think Simo's service provider or Telstra or something had a problem.
Disconnected on him.
Luckily, yeah, I think they were doing some service or doing something on him. So Dread was lucky enough to be on hand, ready to go. It's the advantage of having teammates that are ultra keen to race at any given moment. Not like your teammate, Knight Pegasus, as if he's watching the broadcast. Hello, Pegasus. Hope you had a good night, and sorry that you could not jump in the car of that number 12 JK Gloves team. Hopefully you may be back for the final session. And at least have the car running around.
Well, he's still AFK at the moment. I don't think any of us have heard from him, so...
Could be like the Hangover, mate.
The Hangover.
Like stuck on a roof somewhere. You know?
Partied a little bit too hard last night, I reckon.
Yeah, I've just found out that that's pretty much it. He's about 1.5 hours away from his residence. So, yeah, maybe making the final session, but that was back for a while ago. I got a reply from him. So, so there is still a chance that he may get that final session. As we can see, that afternoon sun's just starting to come in now.
You can see here we've got a logical, and it must be Devil behind him, and then we've got Farkinel catching up fast, so closing that gap in the
ultra
teammate.
fast. Yeah, he definitely is. As we said, I'm predicting that that's probably going to be the case. He's the more time that Farkinel gets seat time, the more he'll get comfortable. So RSJ 37, as we know, is now known as Farkinel. Used to be a very competitive driver.
And he's done plenty of laps around here, around Bathurst, as they've paired up a couple of times here at Bathurst, then too.
Yeah,
and there we've got
we
Muppet.
Go with, Muppet. Again, having some problems.
Lowluck's in the pits. Got some damage repairs.
These all this last minute action between these guys that are 3 or 4 laps down is really going to hotten up this final session. We're going to have a group of cars, I think, all on the same lap.
Well, you look at that, Lowluck's, Muppet, Muppet and Dark Lord are all probably going to be on the same lap, looking at those lap times.
Yeah, definitely. Just depending where the leader is at the end of the race and where they are. So,
speaking of the leader, we've got Dredd here on screen at the moment with a super clean looking car, so he's been very consistent, as he always tends to be.
Yeah, definitely. And we're getting close to 4 PM in game at the moment, time, because this time that session 3 will be set in out of 4 PM in game time. It's probably closer to around about 3, just after 3, I think. 3:30 or so.
We've got all the blue cars on track at the moment, so we've got Red on screen with Timmy in the middle of...
yeah, there you go. Well picked up.
Darky coming through as well, which looks like he's got past him.
Yeah, Dredd. I mean, Darky's had a great drive in this session.
That one little incident early on with Weary Knight, which caused Weary to drop down a little bit, but Weary's managed to hold on. He's sitting in a third at the moment, so... no, I believe Weary might be doing the last session as well, because I think his partner Gear 3 Gaming only did the second session, and Weary was going to do the other 3, so...
Okay. So I think Gear did the first session, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah, it's first session Gear did.
First session, was it? Yeah, first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But, yeah, put the fastest driver in the seat. That's definitely going to make for an entertaining final session. That final session, there's no more tickets into the next session. It's all on the line for the trophy at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I could imagine if a lot of the cars are on the lead lap after the pit stops, it will be action aplenty by then.
We got 3 laps to go in this third session.
So, who we got? Is it Commander Jim, is it? In 7th?
It is.
Yeah, so he's been doing a great job. So he's still only, what, a lap down, 30 or 2 laps down. No, he'll be where was the leaders? Were they just coming on to Mountain Straight? Yeah, so he's still only a lap down because they're just coming on Mountain Straight. So can he hold off? And he'll be that would have been a tremendous session by him. But he started a lap down, and to stay a lap down will be a great effort. and there'll be no one else a lap down start of session 4.
No, everyone else is going to be
So
session 3, and yeah, it's going to be. Yeah. Timmy will be what? He might be 4 laps down with low lux. And then
yeah,
Muppet Gonzo, Dark Lord. Be about one
they
together.
might be about 4 or
Yeah.
5 laps down, and then we'll have Devil X 6 laps down. And yeah, so it's going to be definitely. It's a big move here by Commander Jim, because what he can do, if he holds his 7th position as well, being a lap down, he'll pick up any pieces of the top 6 that may have incidents. You know, when as we said, it's got the final session, though everyone will be trying hard. That's where it means everything. And a couple of mistakes, and guys have to have a couple of pit stops, and the Commander can keep doing what he's doing. Could find himself gaining that extra position in the final session if anyone falls as a lap down.
Weary Knight's in the 202s now at the moment, matching Dread, so he's doing the same as what he did that last session, the last 5 laps, just
Yeah,
absolutely pedal to the floor.
So yeah, with Commander Jim being nice as well, we've seen him letting the drivers through and being very courteous to everyone, and finding still without a battered up car, and as we said, keeping the same position as what he started at, being a lap down.
And Commander Sirius has done well from that little incident over the top of the mountain where he's picked up that bit of damage. He's been managing to do those 205.6s, so a little bit slower, but as you said earlier on, it's all a matter of him getting that car round on the lead lap, ready for that final session. So he's done well to keep his cool and keep the laps turning.
Yeah, and these guys have done a lot. This has been a better session, but than anyone. Like I think the difference was 1 minute 55 in the second session that Brightsail was behind the leader, so he just held on to the lead lap after having to make an extra pit stop for a bit of damage. So, and then I had myself, which was 1 minute 19 behind the leader, and Cirrus was 1 minute 27. So these guys at the moment still within a minute off the lead. The pace and everyone has picked up the next level at the moment.
Oh, the pace of Weary Knight, that last lap was a 202.3, so he's not just doing the laps just to get round, he's leaving it all out there.
Fastest man on track, and if he can do that this time, and he can be within earshot of the leaders, this race could be, this can be anyone's at the moment.
Well, we saw his start to the race, didn't we? He jump frogged everyone and was in first place after the second corner and pulled out a bit of a gap.
Yeah, exactly. And he'll be starting third. If he can trouble those leaders early on, and knowing that he's got this strong pace at the end of the race, look out. That's all I can say. Super drive. So it looks like we have got Dread. We've got 2 more laps remaining. This and the next lap to go. And I guess a lot of the questions are, at the moment, Night Havoc's probably hoping that his teammate Commander Jim can just stay that 1 lap down if he can fend off Dread. He's getting held up by Lolux. I thought he would have cleared Lolux by now, but
Dread's not far behind. He's not far behind at all.
No, and they're lapping roughly 3 second difference, and he's getting held up with Lolux as well, Commander Jim. But if he can put him and Lolux between themselves,
a lap and a half. Dread's on lap 39. He's got 1 more lap.
Yeah. And Dread won't be easing off either, because he can't afford it. He's got Darky only 3 seconds behind him.
Oh,
and as we said, that is no, that's not him.
Serious?
That's Quick Mick.
Dark Lord.
Dark Lord, sorry. again, can he make sure that none of these other leading cars, we've got a Logical Sports to come through, Cirrus I think to come through, all these guys, Weary Knight, he's just got through,
like got through.
not almost hitting Timmy.
Would have been the second time Timmy in that exact spot. That's where Timmy T-boned him last time. Timmy would have been coming down the mountain going, oh no, not again.
Currently 7 laps. I'll see. He'll finish probably 6 laps down, so right on the 6th lap. So he'll be battling with Devil X in the final session. And I think Muppet may have just held out and be 5 laps down, maybe.
Coming up. Mountain with Dreads. Yeah, he should hold out there.
Yeah, and we may, I think, fingers crossed, well, I think we're all supporting here at the moment Commander Jim to stay on this. Well, it's not the lead lap, but 1 lap down, which it looks like he's going to be doing.
Yeah, looking at that, he
looks
should
like he's got
definitely
enough
hold on.
space. Yeah, and it's a good drive. You'll see that Payas car doing well. It's had some trouble over the years over here at Mount Panorama. And just maybe he may be able, with a bit of luck going his way in the final session, that they may scrape in to get a top 6, even a top 5 result, depending what might happen. All those cars on the lead lap. That's right, he showed some pace.
And you got 6 cars on the lead lap fighting for a podium finish.
Yeah,
anything can happen. One touch and it's damage, and you're in the pits and you're down a lap. So
I think everyone will be finding their feet that first 10 laps of the next session, and then after that it'll be on. You know, everyone will know where they are of those lead cars. And if anyone's got any chance, they will be fighting hard for it. That's for sure. And there you can see Dredd just in the distance there, about to take out session 3, which will be 120 laps down of this 161 lap race. And that's been a nice solid drive by Dredd. As some people said, he was just held back in 3rd at the start of the race after he lost the lead early, and just waited for the guys to wear their tyres out a little bit and pounced during the pit stops. Or before the pit stops, he actually got in front, didn't he, of Darky? But Darky was the one that made a lot of places up during the pit stop. And this man, he was unlucky not to leapfrog Weary Knight after getting caught up with a car that was 180 degrees pointing the wrong way, straight across the track, up coming down the S's. Did well to avoid it, just got a little bit of a side glance. So the Cash Cow car, the Channel 7 Cash Cow car's not doing too bad at the moment, in 4th position. On the lead lap, as is this man here, Logical Sports, who will obviously, I'll be jumping into this car in the final session.
You'll be happy with that?
Fingers.
Would he be on the lead lap, right in that fighting position?
We'll be happy, and hopefully I can bring that home for a good result. I'll have this man, Right Sower, he's Farkennel's teammate, right behind me. And he won't make it easy, that's for sure. And then this man here that'll be ready to pounce. Anyone that makes mistakes in the leading 6 will be Commander Jim.
And these next 3, so you'll have Timmy and Lolux possibly 2 laps down. Lolux will be on the verge of 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting either way. We could have Timmy and Lolux in a battle, and then we could have Muppet and Dark Lord in a bit of a battle as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know how that'll all happen there. With Dark Lord will be 6 laps down or not, but I thought he might have been 6 laps down. But when those times have come around there, it wouldn't really show as being 6 laps, but we'll have a little look.
Well, there
So
we
that's the
go.
end of what has been a fairly entertaining session with a few things that have gone on to really spice up this final session. That's going to hit our screens and everything in about another half an hour or so. But we have Dread 501. It's currently first position with Dark Racing 40's teammate in second. Weary Knight, again with a good drive, with a good battle with Darky early on in third. Commander Cirrus, fourth, a very solid drive there with the Logical Sports and Far Kennel having probably a battle throughout the whole race. Not much separated them for the whole race. And then the man we've just been talking about the last 10 minutes, Commander Jim, doing a tremendous job. A lonely race. He was the only one a lap down and stayed that way. So that's a super effort. With Timmy82, had a few little issues, but ends up finding himself 4 laps down. After starting 2 laps down, so he's dropped 2 laps. But he'll have a battle with Low Luck still, which was the case at the start of this race. They'll both the 2 laps down, so they'll be now 4 laps. And then Muppet Gonzo, again, just was hoping that he might have been able to not avoid dropping that extra lap to those guys, so he's still going to be a lap behind those guys. And then when I get my screen to go down, we've got the guys that will think him with Dark Lord and Devil X will both be 6 laps down. That's the maximum that they'll be down. And also if we will get Night Pegasus back in the number 12 ZK Gloves team, he'll be battling it out with those 2 guys as well. Alright, so thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll have to run so we can get our next session up and ready to go. Thank you, Jetto, for jumping in and helping out. You may be needed for the final session with Darky.
I think I'll definitely jump in that session. I'm not going to miss the fireworks that are about to unfold, so definitely looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll see a lot of you viewers jumping online again for this final session.
Thank you. Thanks again, Jetto, and thanks for everyone for watching, and we will be back on this channel within the next 30 minutes to 40 minutes time. So until then, thank you for tuning in. We're AusNZ Combined Racing League, and we're here for all you Aussie and New Zealand sim racers out there on the Xbox. Thank you. Cheerio.